Hello guys. Today we're gonna talk about Alien Resurrection. Okay, boy. This one came out in 1997, so 5 years roughly after Alien 3. The movie's rated R, and it's an hour 49 long. Has 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb with about 273,000-ish user votes, and it has 62% on Metacritic with 198 critics. The movie's directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Is it Jeunet? And he also did the movie Amelia. And that movie is held in incredibly high regard. The movie stars Sigourney Weaver from the other Alien movies and Winona Ryder from stuff like Stranger Things. On Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has 55% on the critics rating with 161 critics and 39% by audience with 250,000-ish audience people. The critics' consensus is, while Sigourney Weaver's feral performance as a resurrected Ripley restores some fun to the Alien franchise, the acid blood running through this fourth entry's veins corrodes whatever emotional investment audience had left. The movie is, of course, streaming on all the Hulu stuff and is available to rent and buy on Apple TV, Amazon, and Microsoft Store, and available to rent only on Charter Spectrum. And the movie was released on DVD in 1998. Yeah, this one, I think this is better than Alien 3. Of course, based on some of those numbers, like, some people may feel differently about that, which I get, because there's definitely, I will say this, there's more elements in this movie that I would say, quote unquote, jump the shark a little bit compared to Alien 3, even though Alien 3 had a couple of those too. But at least with the ones here, they're more entertaining than shit. At least with that, as opposed to Alien 3, it doesn't do it that much, but the ones that it kind of does a little bit just feel so jarring and just make you go, what the no, fuck that. This movie feels more like an Alien movie than Alien 3 did, in all honesty. Really the worst part about this movie, in all honesty, that it definitely feels more like a B movie than Alien 3 does. Alien 3, for all its faults, still felt like an A movie in terms of being made top company and all that. It still had that feeling, and you can see it on the film. This film, you can, despite the efforts, I mean, there's the special effects in this film, I will say this, they're a lot better than Alien 3, and there's a lot more shit going on. It's definitely a better entertaining movie, although I don't know if I would say that it's better in other ways. I will say this about this movie too, I could tell everyone apart. I knew where everyone was, like Alien 3. Yeah, they kind of went weird with Ripley in this movie. I kind of like what they were doing with it a little bit. I think they kind of take too much of their time with it. I kind of wish they started making her more normal a bit earlier. But, oh, there's just one scene in this movie. It's the best scene in the movie. Oh man, I don't know if I want to give away spoilers or nothing, but man, it's pretty brutal. And to be honest, I really liked it. It was a really good scene. Anyone who's already seen this movie, you know what scene I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, but yeah, this is really, this is much more improvement. But really the only real con in this is it does kind of feel like a B movie, and you kind of feel like if this movie was presented more as kind of like an A movie, it probably would have been received a bit better. And to be honest, like, the jumping shark moments, I definitely felt like if they maybe trimmed down on some of those, the movie would have done a little bit better. But in all honesty, because I just got done watching fucking Alien 3, and then I put this on, and it just felt like such a breath of fresh fucking air that I kind of welcomed the craziness with open arms a little bit, even though there were moments where I'm like, okay, this isn't like the first two Aliens here. We're kind of in a different era here. But you know what? Overall, though, I appreciate the chaos of this movie. It definitely felt like a breath of fresh air. It just would have been nice if there was just a little bit more of a little bit of a tightening of it a little bit, so we can get kind of more something upper tier, kind of like the first two Alien movies. But let's face it, if you're calling a sequel Resurrection, you already know that you might be slumming it a little bit. Let's be honest here. Overall, though, it's a good popcorn movie. I mean, it definitely is a good palate cleanser from Alien 3. Now, some people may still say this is a shitty movie compared to Alien 3, and in some ways, there is, in some ways, yeah, but man, I will, but like I said, like this, I will say this, comparing how both this and Alien 3 took how the prior film ended and in what they did with it, this film does a way better job turning what happened at the end of Alien 3 into something decent and somewhat creative in this, as opposed to what Alien 3 did on the ending of Aliens. So that definitely helps too. And to be honest, but here's the thing too. I think, and this is kind of why they made this film the way they do too, because when Alien 3 came out, people hated it. People thought it was garbage. People were so disappointed in it. So they kind of knew that they had to maybe be a little bit more outside. They had to pretty much do things, get back into the Alien roots a little bit, but at the same time, get a little bit more zany. And they kind of did. In all honesty, they kind of accomplished it a little bit here. Maybe they just went a little too far with the zaniness. Maybe if they tie in a Baddick and maybe try to make it more like high standard filming. But I don't know. I mean, for what it is, it's fine. I probably recommend this more than Alien 3, but it's not, I wouldn't call it a great film either. Like, these two films, they're not near the same class as Alien and Aliens. They're really not. However, I will say this. After this, we get to the Prometheus phase. Oh, man. I got a lot to talk about with Prometheus and Covenant. Good lord. That is lore up the ass with those movies. That's going to be interesting to talk about. But I'll talk about Prometheus in the next video. But for this one here, it's definitely more of a recommendation than Alien 3. This is the film this is kind of like when you're binge watching the Friday the 13th films and you're kind of and then Jason X is coming up. You're like, okay, we're going to get some crazy shit. This is kind of the equivalent here a little bit. This is kind of the movie where just funny, crazy shit happens in it. While Alien 3 is probably more like... Well, I don't know. On a quick little side note, the Friday the 13th films, even at their lowest point, they still had some... They still could be some campy fun, pun intended, on pretty much all of them. None of them, I would say, like, are drogs to get through. If you like the schlock, they all can be fun. But Alien 3, ugh, way too. that's a. Oh. But yeah, this is a decent little movie. And to be honest, despite what you might see in other things and stuff, compared to Alien 3, it's definitely better in my opinion. But I'd like to hear what you guys think. Which one is the worst Alien movie, this or Alien 3? I'm curious on what you guys think about that. But overall, though, yeah, this is definitely more of a recommend. But yeah, next is Prometheus, and that's gonna be an interesting one to talk about. That'll be in the next video. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for this one here. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.